And it's really been a delight to do this series. It's been a delight to consider this for my own home, and then to consider what it would look like for us together. To consider what it would look like when all of our homes pursued Jesus under our roofs, and then what it would look like when we gather together and the impact that could have on our community. It's really been a joy, and I'm a little bit sad that the series is coming to a wrap-up, but I'm excited for this last message. Before I get to it, though, I'm gonna say a couple things. You say, Pastor Luke, you said them last week, and you said it the week before, and that's right. I've taught Bible here in the school for a few years, and I've learned a couple things, that if you say it once, it won't be remembered. And so you say things a few times in hopes that it will stick a little bit. And so just by way of reminder, as we approach this series, we are looking at certain biblical themes, principles that go throughout the entire scriptures. And, well, goodness, I'd love to take all day to sit and look at each one of those passages just deeply and intentionally, but, well, they didn't give me that much time on the flow sheet. And so I've got to just kind of touch on some of these passages, reference them, and then have you jot them down, hopefully in your notebook, and take them home and make them a part of your devotions for this week. So we're just going to touch on some key passages that will help us highlight some particular themes that will apply for our homes. The second thing that I just want to say is that we also recognize that homes look differently. There's different makeup. Sometimes, perhaps your home looks like college roommates living in a dorm. Perhaps your home looks like newly married, no kids. Perhaps your home has teens in it. Perhaps your home is an empty nester home. Perhaps your home has really been about discipleship and exalting Jesus within your walls. And perhaps your home has had a lot of difficulty that you guys have walked through. Perhaps your home has experienced suffering or trials. All of our homes are different and unique. And so as we move through these, recognize that these principles apply no matter what your home makeup looks like. Whether college roommates, whether married with teens, these principles apply for any home. And there is hope for your home. Whether you guys have been pursuing Jesus and you just need an encouragement, or just to take another step to think about how you could pursue him even more. Or if your home has maybe some struggle, some dysfunction, whatever it is, then you need to hear that there is hope to take a step towards renewal and wholeness. Regardless, these principles are for you, and that should be tremendously encouraging. And so, with that, let's undertake our final message this morning, homes as an oasis of rest and renewal. Can you relate with me, perhaps, to this scenario or something like it? It's Monday morning, getting myself ready. I choose to take an extra 5 minutes in my favorite spot to start my mornings with my cup of coffee. Still dark outside, silence still. It's a good time of day, my favorite time of day. I say, well, 5 minutes more, that won't be a big deal. The coffee's good, the coffee's strong. But now, it's time to start to get moving. I'm in a little bit of a rush, just a little bit of a rush. I have a morning meeting on Monday mornings, and so there's not a ton of wiggle room. We need to get out the door and get the car rolling by a certain time to make this early Monday morning meeting. I can move quick. I can move pretty quick. I can be pretty efficient with my steps and my movements. But I've got two boys that are as fast as lightning until we're in a hurry. I have to make this clutch decision right now. What do? Do I get them up now and have them start getting themselves ready? Or do I leave them in their rooms until I've got everything situated? I've got lunches packed, book bags in the car. I got breakfast ready to go. I got it all set up. All we have to do is transport their bodies into the car. What do I do? Well, if I wake them up and start getting them ready, then they're moving a little bit earlier, but then I got to manage them. If I wait until the last second, okay, well, we're just going to be running up until the line, and I just got to make sure that everything runs smoothly to move their little bodies into the seats. What will I do? What will I do? Well, I decide, all right, I'm going to just wake them up. Hey, good morning. Start getting yourself dressed. We got to roll. Oh, other one. Here we go. Josh, love you. Now, all right, welcome to the day. Welcome to the week. All right, I get them up. I get them moving. And I start to go back downstairs to get things rolling again. Caleb wants to show me the book that he made last night. All his drawings. Oh, I love it, buddy. I love it. It even says to Dad. But sorry, we don't have time. Oh, we don't have time. Ah, okay. And then he's coming down. He's just drew something. He's doing all right. Here comes, I start to hear giggling. We don't have time for giggling. What kind of home do you think this is to have time for laughter and joy, which will be our second point today? Come on. We don't have time for laughing and giggling. Then all of a sudden, here comes Josh around the corner, and he's got his pants on his head, and he thinks he's just the most hilarious guy. Yes, it's hilarious, except I got to get moving. I'm in a rush. I'm in a hurry. And so I start to get a little bit tense. I start to get maybe a little bit quicker with my words. Finally, I get them in the car. We are driving. The mood is tense. I feel frustration welling up within me. I want to be upset. But I also recognize that this situation is on me. I was the one who was hurried. I was the one who allowed this chaotic start. But at least we're in the car. We're on the highway. We're driving. And I forgot the masks. I'm joking. Well, no, I'm not joking. I've forgotten the masks before. This vignette into my morning could resonate with many of us. The hurry, the on the go, the rushed, the got to get to the grind posture in life. It's all too characteristic of us as Americans in the 21st century. John Mark Comer, in his book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, he says this, though. Hurry and love are incompatible. God has called us to love Him and love others. Our lives are to be lives of love. But hurry and love are like oil and water. They will not mix together. John Ortberg says that a disordered schedule is often the result of a disordered heart. We never display our best when we are rushed. Have you ever seen someone who's like clearly in a hurry in the store, like the husband who forgot to grab that gallon of milk when he was pulling in the driveway and said, "Whoa, got to go around," and it's just in a hurry and grabbing the gallon of milk, clearly in a rush. Have you ever thought, as you're seeing this guy rushing through the aisles, there's a portrait of Jesus? It's going to get personal. Have you ever been driving on the highway, late for that meeting, late for whatever it is? You're going maybe a little bit over, and then all of a sudden a car pulls over into the passing lane going about 5 miles an hour slower than the speed limit. Let me ask you, would you say that what you felt coursing through your veins in that moment was the Spirit of God filling you with joy and patience and peace? Probably not. Probably not. We tend to be characterized as a culture as a busy, hurried, burned out, and anxious people. And the more we are hurried, the less we are loving. I would bet that the majority of us throughout our week feel more often than not like we're going day by day simply trying to keep our heads above the water. And my aim and my hope for this morning and for this message for this morning, for your home, my hope would be that in the midst of a chaotic and a frenetic norm of our culture, that our homes could be, and that our homes are intended to be, a refreshing oasis of rest and renewal for our lives, for all those who live under our roofs, and for those that we would invite inside our doors. Homes are intended to be an oasis of rest and renewal. And I'm going to suggest this morning that we find rest and renewal in two ways when we cultivate rhythms of ceasing and rhythms of celebrating. Those are 2 points. Rhythms of ceasing, rhythms of celebrating. Let's look at rhythms of ceasing first. We're going to start with a little Hebrew word, Shabbat. Shabbat. Hebrew word that means to cease, to stop, to still, or to rest. Shabbat is the word that we translate into the English transliteration of Sabbath. When we hear Sabbath, for many of us as Protestant believers in Protestant churches, oftentimes when we hear Sabbath, we start to kind of associate it with this Old Testament day, holy day of the week, or perhaps this end of the day kind of ritual, or end of the week ritual that Jews celebrate. But for many of us, we wonder, what kind of bearing does it still have on us today? Now, true, it is in the Old Testament as a law for Israel to observe. And people die when they break it. And yes, it is something that Jews today still practice, but there is more, and there is something in the idea of Sabbath for us. The concept of Shabbat, or ceasing, is a principle that is rooted in God and in creation